All right, so we're going to talk about how molecules move throughout the cell. And the first thing I want you to know is that molecules are always moving. They're always bouncing around. They move because they're looking for other atoms that'll help them fill like their shells. That's why atoms kind of combine. But molecules, once they form and they're pretty stable, they are going to move for a specific reason. Does anybody know why? Let's say I have all molecules over here and some over here. What are the molecules going to want to do? Sometimes they want to combine. This is stable and this is stable. What is it looking for now? To kind of balance each other out, okay? Just like, let's say, when you need water, you want to balance yourself out with your environment if you're dehydrated. That's the same concept. Molecules are looking for a way to balance themselves with their environment so they can feel like they're uniform. So this causes molecules to move in specific directions. There's two ways molecules move. One is called passive and one is called active. If you look at this diagram, okay, look at the purple, the red, here would be the diamonds. Can anybody tell me the difference? The first thing you notice is that active needs energy and passive does not.
There are notes on saying that you're on there.
Passive involves molecules moving from where there is more of them to where there is less. They also reference it as high concentration to low concentration. So if you notice here, there's a lot of purple here. Let's say this is the outside of the membrane, and there's only two inside. Molecules are going to move until what? Until they're equal. That's when they're satisfied. Same thing with these orange triangles, and same thing with these blue circles. In active, which direction are the diamonds moving? No, they're moving down. They move from where there is less to more, from low concentration to high concentration. And they also they reference that as against the concentration gradient. So think of passive as, you know, when you're in the ocean and you're floating, right? And you're going to move with the current, you don't have to do anything, right? But when you want to go against the current, what do you need to do? Swim. You're going against the natural flow, so energy is required to push the molecules in that direction. Now, why would they want to go against the flow? Because maybe some part of the cell requires that specific molecule at that specific time, or it needs to get rid of it. That's when it would go against the flow. And in order to go against the flow, energy is required. So there's three different types of passive. What will the three types of passive have in common? They're all going to be moving high to low without energy. Always moving from high to low without energy. Okay? In this case, what are the molecules moving through? Good. And what is the membrane made up of? Phospholipids and proteins. What's it moving through here? What do you see a protein? No, so it's the phospholipids, okay? If you see a big blob in it and it's going through the big blob, you know it's going through a protein. So it's moving through the phospholipids. That is simple diffusion. Molecules moving through the lipid layer from high to low. If we look at the next one, where are the molecules moving through now? So molecules are moving through the protein from high to low or more to less. Molecules moving from high to low through the protein. The reason it's called facilitated is because the proteins actually assist the molecules through the membrane. So they might be too large to go through the lipid layer, or there's some, issue, so the protein kind of forms a channel and pushes it through in the right direction. Yes. The last type of passive is osmosis, And like you said, water is moving from an area of more to less or high to low. If you notice here in this diagram, you see those green bubbles? What are we always going to call water? Or what did you learn from water when we did water's properties?
That it had two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen.
It had two hydrogens and an oxygen.
Sticky and it clumps together.
It's sticky and it clumps together. It forms polar covalent bonds.
It has three
States.
It's the ultimate solution.
It's the ultimate what? Solvent. Okay? So it is our solvent. Write that down. Water equals solvent. And the other substance there, the green circles, would be what? Sugar would be our what? Solute. Good. Water is always the solvent. In this case, you see that there is these green circles here. That means the concentration of water is greater on the left side, because there is sugar here and water is going to react with the sugar to try to balance out. So the concentration of water is greater here. So water is going to go from left to right. I'm going to show you a video to help you reinforce that. Always remember that if you want to click on this link, you see, actually you can't click on that. I have to copy it. If in this animation the green molecule can actually pass through the membrane and diffusion occurred, in which direction would the molecule move? Raise your hand if you could tell me. From right to left. Why? Who could tell me?
Because the right side is high concentration.
Because diffusion always moves molecules from where there's more to where there's less. There's actually none on the left side, so the green molecules would actually move. And I'll put this in the picture so you can actually see it. Like that, it was not the way. Let's try this again. So if diffusion occurred, the green molecule would move from where there's more to where there's less, or high to low, until it reaches a balance. Done. Yes.